Hello everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. Hello everyone, am I audible to all of you? Hello everyone, hello everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible to you? Yes, Akshay is there. Am I audible to all of you? Yes, am I audible? Yes, there are many students join with me. Yes, am I audible? Okay, yes. You all are here. Very good, very good. Yes, Akshay, Ashwini, Devendra, Neha. Yes, thank you. Yes, as all of you knew that today there was a UPSC CSM first paper, GS paper was there and it was over, and today only we are going to decide or discuss the first paper. Yes everyone, hello everyone, welcome to the platform of Unacademy, India's largest learning platform. I welcome you all. Here we are going to provide you daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, structured courses, unlimited access with the subscription. Yes, those who haven't downloaded the app, I insist you please download the app so that you will get the more benefits of Unacademy, as the special classes are available only on app. Let me introduce myself. Those who are new here, my name is Harshvardhan Singh, and on this platform I'm going to teach you all the aspects of history, economics and international relations. Currently my lecture series on modern India and international relations is going on, and we already finished the series of world history. Those who want to connect with me, they can connect with me through our Telegram channel, that is at Unacademy underscore Harsh10 is my Telegram channel. You can connect with me, you can ask your queries and questions, and you will get to know about lecture timings and all. Those who want to connect with me through app, then this is my address at Harshvardhan Singh for you. I am having 8 year experience in the field of civil services as an educator at Delhi, Pune and Nagpur. These are our top educators. Please do watch their videos. It will be more helpful for you in your preparation. I hope all of you subscribe to Unacademy, and those who haven't taken subscription, I insist you to have a subscription of Unacademy, because your subscription allow us to make such wonderful videos for you and they help you in your preparation. Yes, so we are having option of plus as well as iconic. In that plus subscription or iconic subscription, we are providing the option of 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 and 36. I insist you at least have a 12-month subscription. So within that time, we are going to cover almost all of your syllabus. Okay. So whenever you want to take the subscription, please use my code. HarshV10 is my code. Yes, this is my code. HarshV10 is my code. You will get the 10% discount as well as you're going to count as my student. And I insist you have a iconic subscription, because here we are going to provide you all the aspects of guidance including personal feedback. Yes, so we have option subscription as well. Please subscribe and use my code. And we already started the batches for 2021, 22, 23. Yes, so these are the 6 month batches for UPSC CSE prelims. It is in bilingual English as well as Hindi, so it is up to you. Please join these batches, you will get really more benefits from it. And yes, we are providing the combo offer as well, that is optional plus GS, iconic plus optional. You can take it and you can use the code UPSC CSE. Yes, the price hike is also there, and these are my classes, special classes. It is available on YouTube, sorry, available on our app only. Okay everyone, yes, how many people are there? Yes, very good afternoon to all of you. Yes, just paper is over, and those who are appearing for this year means they are in examination hall and they are writing their paper second. They are in bit tension as well. We can consider their situation. What about you? What about you? I just want to add more awareness So that's we decided to have discussion today only. So as all of you gone through the question paper, you will get to know that there is no question of world history. Am I right? Yes, everyone. Am I right? True. There is no such a question of world history there. Good. Along with that, is there any question of post-independence? Yes, everyone. Is there any question of post-independence as well? Of course not. Then, what about this question paper? Means whether they ask about modern India only, or whether they ask about the ancient India, geography only, or the other. So if you've gone through the question paper, you will get to know that today's paper is of generalized nature. In this paper, there is no specialization of knowledge is required. You can write this question paper on the basis of your understanding. And this is very difficult. Yes, everyone, guys and girls, please make the note of it. Whenever the such type of question paper is there, everybody is in win-win situation. They consider that it is very simple for them. Means they wrote all the questions and all, and now they have chances. But this is the way, or this is the trick that competitive examination used to eliminate the aspirants, because we thought it is simple and we just write in generalized way. It should not be the case. Clear? So whenever you want to write the generalized question, generalized way, but sometimes you have to be specific in that. Sometimes you have to add in more dimension, because if you are writing the answer in one dimension, you are not getting good marks. Clear? So it was a tricky. So there are many students. There are many students who can consider. Then why we are focusing on world history? Why we are focusing on post-independence? If UPSC is not asking the question, then why we have to study? Clear? This can be, this can be the situation of the aspirants, future aspirants like you, that why to. Please remember, UPSC didn't ask world history, post-independent question, and even the geography question in true sense this year. But whether UPSC mentioned that they are not going to ask question on world history, post-independence, or the typical geography like oceanography, climatology, and all in detail, whether they mention it? Yes, everyone. Whether they mention that they are not going to ask. Yes, what do you think? Whether they mention, whether they ask? Of course not. They didn't mention that. So you have to be prepared for that. Clear? If you are not going to be prepared for this, then maybe in next year they are going to ask more question on world history, more question on post-independence, more question on oceanography. Clear? So it is not the case that they didn't ask the question for a long. It doesn't mean they are not going to ask the question in future as well. If you go through the question paper, you will get to know that there are some typical questions related to the art and culture, ancient and medieval time. Yes, one question is very interesting. It is related to the medieval literary source, and they mention about the it represents the literary tradition or the tradition of the country of that time, theme of the India at that time. So basically, if you haven't read the NCRT or the books related to the medieval times, then it is not easy for you to solve. Most of you underestimated the portion known as art and culture. Yes, am I right or wrong? Yes, Devendra, Ashwini, Akshay, Vasudha, and all. Don't you think so? The people and the students are mostly underestimating this thing. They underestimated the art and culture section. They considered how many questions they are going to ask. Yes, art and culture. How many questions UPSC used to ask? One or two. Clear? One or two questions they are going to ask. Why to waste our time? Just read any substandard book. Yes, it is our approach. What's our approach? Read any substandard source. Clear? This is the practice people used to follow, any substandard source, and because of that reason only you are not in a position to write the better answer. So always remember, Before we start the discussion of the question, first I want to let you know the different mistakes you are going to do in the examination or before appearing for the examination. That is reference of any substandard books for your preparation. It is just like a suicidal attempt. So do not rely on any substandard book. I insist you lots of time, everyone. In modern India I mentioned, in world history I mentioned. Yes, so please do not rely on that. They are not going to solve your problem. They are basically a factual notes. Here the question is not about the factual. Here you have to use the analytical skill, and for that books are the best source. Clear? So if you go through question paper, you will get to know it is of generalized nature. And today we are going to discuss the many questions, many, as I said, few many questions out of this present paper. I'm not going to discuss, yes everyone, I'm not going to discuss those questions which are of factual in nature. Factual, like I just want to share you one thing. One question is related to Himalayan rivers melting. Something is question is there in today's paper. It's very factual question. Anybody knows that. So we are not going to discuss. We are going to discuss the question where your opinion matter, where the views matter, and where you have to analyze the thing. Clear? Simple questions we are not going to discuss because you are well versed in that, and I'm discussing that question. It is really a insult of you. Clear? So that's why we are going to decide the questions in different manner. Yes, everyone. Yes, everyone. Are you ready? Yes, everyone. Before we start the session, are you ready? Are you excited? Yes, everyone. Ready? Excited? Okay, go ahead. The first question, and I just mentioned the number as it is. The number question 1 as it is of the paper. Clear? The rocket architecture represent one of the most important sources of our knowledge of early Indian art and history discussed. Clear? Rocket. How to read the question, that is most important thing. And yes, just consider, yes, you are going to appear for the examination, how you are going to deal with this. A very basic thing. How? First, just read in normal way. The rocket architecture represents one of the most important sources of our knowledge of early Indian art and history discussed. Okay. Keywords: rocket architecture. Represent one of the most source of our knowledge of early Indian art and history. Yes, everyone. What you're going to write? Just discuss. Discuss. The question is very simple. It is of discuss in nature. You have to discuss. First of all, do you agree? Yes, everyone. Do you agree with this fact? Do you agree with this fact, that is our rocket architecture represent the important source of our knowledge about Indian art and history? Yes, everyone. Do you agree with this or not? Yes, you agree. Clear. Because your agreement or disagreement is going to decide the answer. What you're going to write. If you are not agree, then answer is completely different. But as it is an established fact, we have read, we have seen, we have even touched. Clear? So we know all these things. So that's why we are agree with this. Clear? We are agree with this. Good. Now what to do? How to deal with this question? The rocket architecture. Rocket architecture. The rocket architecture consists of what? Yes, what do you consider in the rocket architecture? Can we consider the caves in that? Can we consider temples in that? Yes, everyone. Yes, I'm going to discuss this with you. Can we consider the rocket architecture consists of caves? Can we consider it consists of temples? Yes, Harshada mentioned, yes, she is agree. It consists of caves. It consists of temples. Clear? Agree? Good. Now, the most interesting thing I just want to share with you, as this point is clear for you, rock cut caves, rock cut temples are there. Clear? Next important thing, how you are going to design this thing. That's why we are knowledge of early Indian art and history. What is meaning by early? What is meaning by early? Can be considered prehistoric? Yes, can we consider the prehistoric caves in that? Yes, everyone. Can we consider prehistoric caves? Yes, actually, manuscript inscription were mentioned, which we have to found there. Yes, it's okay. Can we prehistoric? You are going to discuss prehistoric means very best example Bhimbetka and Adamgarh. Yes, everyone. Do you agree with this? Early means can we include the prehistoric caves? Yes. Can we include the Buddhist caves? Yes. Can we? Good. Then Buddhist caves. Then can we include the temples? Means early, not just early. We can mention the temples of Gupta time. Because the word is early means you have to discuss the rock cut temples or rock cut architecture in the early phase. So early means to what? Up to when? Up to ancient India we are going to discuss. So can we consider the temples of South as well? Yes. So first you have to understand which area we have to cover. That's why yesterday, have you remember yesterday when I mentioned about those who are appeared for the last moment strategy, I mentioned that the structure should be there. Idea should be clear in your mind. What you're going to add. What should be the answer format. So when the keywords are clear, this you know that, okay, prehistoric we are going to mention. No, 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 no. Akshay, are you serious? Rock cut आर्किटेक्चर रॉक कट पत्थरों को तोड़ के बनाया हुआ अलग है ना भैया ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हैं यस so now idea is clear in south of course you know that the early temples during the Pallavas are basically rock cut temples. Yes, we already mentioned those who attended the art and culture. They knew that I already discussed with you this thing. The Mahendra Varman was there. The Mahendra Varman this time there was a rock cut temple. Then they started the structure and all and all. Okay. So now the idea is clear to you. You know what early means. Early art and architecture related to rock cut. Okay. Now we are going to discuss how you're going to write. And before that, one more thing. These two aspects we already discussed. One is of rock cut, second is of early. The third aspect, what is the third most important source of our knowledge? Important source of our knowledge of art and history. Can we consider it as a yes? Can we consider it as an important source. Yes, everyone, can we consider Bhuvan, Chalukya's caves are basically in the latter phase. Early phase you have to end earlier. Chalukyas are having basically a different style of architecture. It is in second phase. The Chalukyas cave is basically Badami's. Badami is very famous for the caves and all. But we considered in latter phase, not in early phase. Clear? Yes, can we consider it as an important source of knowledge? Yes, you considered. How? Yes, how? What information you're getting from here? Yes, we can, but how we can consider it? What information you are having related to that? Yes, what information you're getting from these related to the art, related to the history, related to the art, technique, style, technique you understood, style, clear, then knowledge of ornamentation. Yes, because these are the part of art, technique, style, ornamentation, colors, which color, natural color or artificial color they used and all that is there. Clear. What about our knowledge of history? Yes, second, knowledge of history. It also having the aspect how first it gives information related to the kings and queens. It gives information related to the taxes of that time. It gives information related to the administration of that time because there are some references of it. Clear? Yes, everyone, is that clear to you? And then I'm going to tell you what exactly how you're going to frame this question. Clear? Yes, everyone, is that clear to you? Yes, good. Yes, exactly. Means there are many aspects. Animal domestication, which animals, what and all information we are getting from here. Okay. Even the flora and fauna that we came to know from that area. Because right now in the temple art, means for example, Bhimbetka and Adamgarh, you will get to know the part of life that is dancing is the part of life, hunting is the part of life. Along with that, you will get the references of that elephant is there. Yes, elephant is there. So such kind of all information you're getting from that. Even the source of income, it also shows from the art and architecture. Clear? Yes. So what you are going to write? The part first, point first, whatever you want to say. It is very simple. Part first, you're going to mention introduction. It should be brief. Introduction should be brief. It should not be a long. Art and architecture is an important part of human life. They shows the or they depict the human life along with the all aspect like socio political economic cultural aspect of that time. Clear? This should be your introduction. Full stop. Second point, Indians. Yes, this point you have to mention. Indians in literary sense not having practice of writing history. So these monuments are help or are helping us to link our history with our present, or these monuments are basically help us to understand our past. Clear? This should be your past first, and this point is important because Indians do not have, in literary sense, have a practice of writing history. जैसे बहुत सारे दरबार होते थे, उसमें एक दरबारी होता था जिसका काम होता था इतिहास लिखना. Yes, in general there were various officials appointed in the court of the king, and they are going to write the history of that kingdom and anything. So such type of practice was not present related to the historiography in India. So these monuments help us. So it should be a small introduction part. Clear? Second part, you are going to mention about how it is important source of knowledge. And so what exactly you are getting from here. As we mentioned earlier, these points are generalized points. How you can consider it. It gives aspect, means it gives history, kingdom, knowledge of history, kingdom, taxation, social life, even the cultural life, spiritual aspect, etc. You can add many more things in even the materialistic life and all. These all aspects you're getting from here. That's why we considered it is a source of information. Yes, everyone, this is considered as a source of information. And now we are going to discuss in part third. Part third, you are going to mention, be specific. For example, prehistoric. You can mention prehistoric caves, Bhimbetka and Adamgarh. Clear? Bhimbetka and Adamgarh. These are the caves. What information you are going to get here? You are going to explain in detail that hunting scene. Yes, you're going to mention the hunting, dancing, but in generalized way. Means these caves are basically depicting the human life of that time, their struggle for the survival, along with that their interest in the art and architecture. Basically art, you're going to mention painting is the very best example of it. Clear? The part 3 is clear to all of you. Yes, everyone, there are many people joined with me. Part 3 is clear to you. Hunting, dancing, painting and all these lives are depicted through that. Part 3, clear? Part 4, you're going to mention about Buddhist caves, Buddhist, Jaina caves. In that very best example, yes, very best example, what you're going to mention? Karle, Bhaja, Udaygiri and other. Bark caves and all. There are many things, many historical caves you're going to mention. Buddhist, China and all. Then you're going to mention the theme. Theme. What is the theme of that? Sometimes they represent the spiritual aspect. Sometimes they show or they depict the life of common people. Clear? These are the themes in these caves. Along with that, these caves are having some inscriptions. Clear? Means the inscription of donation, whose reign, and etc. Hathigumpa, yes, Ajanta, Hathigumpa, there are many, and you all know this very well. Hathigumpa, Rani Gumpa, clear? There are many caves. So what exactly the information, spiritual life, cultural life, even they depicted the life of the common citizen in that. Along with that, the inscription are going to provide you the information. So you have to be specific. During this time, this happened and all. Clear? Ellora cave, very best example of that. In Ellora, Kailash temple is one of the things. Yes, Kailash temple, very well known in Ellora, whose reign and all, because inscription is there. There are many inscriptions you will get to know information about the history as well as the art of that time. Clear? Clear? Then you are going to mention the part 5. As I mentioned, the early temple architecture. Early temple architecture was basically rock cut. These are basically rock cut in north and south. In north and south. Clear? There you are going to mention rock cut architecture. Yes? Yes, everyone. Edicts of Ashoka. We can, yes, of course, we can mention the edicts of Ashoka as well. Yes, the very next part. Yes, thank you for reminding me that as well. Yes, Ashokan edicts also we are going to mention. Ashokan edicts also we are going, because it is a monolithic rock, a rock cut, यानी पत्थर को तोड़ के बनाए. Yes, Ashokan edicts. You are going to mention. See, you all have a information. Just you are presenting the information and I'm going to express this. Clear? This is the way to write the answer. Ashokan inscription, he means you're going to mention the places, even the neighbors of that time, including which reign and all. You are going to connect the link between that. Even that they are talk about the Sudarshan Lake, they are talking about some foreigners were there. Even the Ashoka said his empire, he adopted the policy of Dhamma Vijaya and all. So such kind of things you're going to mention. But you know what? You know what? Word limit is 150 word. So you have to stick with that. So basically, as much as possible, dimension you have to mention. Clear? These are the very best example. Means first part we mention introduction. Second part we mention about what, how, and this thing. And third part onward we are basically giving an example. Just Bhimbetka as an early phase. Second phase we mention about the Buddhist caves and this thing. Next we mention about these all. Clear? Yes, is that clear to all of you? What is expected from you? Because these basically this Buddhist cave, Ashokan pillars or early temples, these are the examples through which we are proving our point that they are the source of knowledge of early art and architecture. Yes, everyone. The question was simple and it was already discussed, and I hope all of you understood it very well without any doubt. Yes, is there any question, any query, any doubt, everyone? Or is it clear to you? Yes, is that clear to you? All of you? Good. No question? Very good. Next. The third question we are directly going to discuss. Evaluate the policies of Lord Curzon and their long-term implication on national movement. The word is evaluate. Clear? Word is evaluate. The policies of Lord Curzon and their long-term implication on national movement. First of all, do you agree with this? That do you consider that Lord Curzon's policies had implication on national movement? This is the first question. Do you agree? Means can we consider that Lord Curzon's policies had a long term, the word is long term, The question, the keywords are policies of Curzon, long term, implication on national movement. Yes, agree. Good. So long term, it doesn't mean just Curzon was there during the time of partition only. Yes, partition of Bengal, East Bengal, West Bengal at that time. But what the question is saying, though he left his office, but after that only his policies played important role, having wider implication, long-term implication on national movement. Clear? Just as we discuss in the world history, that is responsibility of Bismarck for the First World War. And we are like, what? Bismarck left the office in 1890. Why we consider? Yes, because the policies are having long-term impact. So maybe the Curzon policy is having long-term impact. Do you agree? Yes, how many people agree? Just Akshay and Harshada agree with me. Rest are having disagreements with me. You considered no. His policies are not having long-term impact or implication over national movement. It's okay. It's not a forceful thing. Yes, everyone. It's not a forceful thing. Yes. So if you agree, say agree. If you don't agree, it's okay. No problem. Voice of dissent is always there. Now everyone is agree. Good. Okay, let's discuss what exactly the policies Curzon. The policies of Curzon. Curzon is very well known for some aspect. First, practical implementation of policy of divide and rule. Right? Yes, everyone. Right? Curzon was a person who practically implemented the Britishers' long-term policy of divide and rule. Right? If it is right, then tell me the example. If you consider it is true, then please tell me the example of it. Yes, exactly. Partition of Bengal. Okay. Partition of Bengal, that is a divide and rule policy. Best example, practical implementation of that. Okay. One more policy is related to the University Act. Yes, University Act. Have you ever know about it? 1904. He implemented one act. Along with that, he introduced changes in local municipal bodies. Yes, do you have any idea that University Act agriculture reforms for cut down the farmer for maintain nationalist from main nationalist movement? Agriculture reform for cut down farmer from main nationalist movement. Okay. That is different, Akshay. Yes, Relic Commission, University Act. We mentioned introduction of changes in local municipal bodies. Was it there? Yes. Was it there? Okay. So let's take example one by one, as these are the 3 points and we have very short word limit, that is we have to stick to 150 words, and if you're going to discuss these 3-4 points, still it is sufficient for you. Yes. Partition of Bengal. Can we consider the partition of Bengal led to the foundation of Muslim League, and this Muslim League led the movement known as separatist movement, and can we say that this separatist movement later led to the formation of Pakistan? Yes, Akshay, Indian Education Act of 1904, it is there. Yes, can be considered partition of Bengal led to the formation of Muslim League. Muslim League provided the leadership for separatist movement, and this separatist movement finally led to partition and formation of Pakistan. Can we consider it is a long term implication of national movement? Because division of national movement into two aspects, nationalist and separatist. Who led the separatist movement? Muhammad Ali Jinnah. From which party he belongs in the beginning? Indian National Congress. So in one sense we can mention their policies, basically the policy of Gerson, divide and rule. It is having long-term implication for the national movement. Yes, good. So this aspect is clear. This aspect is basically the negative point for Indian national movement. This aspect is there. Yes, this aspect is also there. Changes or introduce changes in the local municipal bodies. Introduce changes in local municipal bodies. What changes? What changes he introduced? Yes, what type of changes he introduced there? He just want to curtail the participation of Indians. He just want to curtail the participation of Indians in local bodies. And what will be the implication? He just want to destroy emerging leadership. Clear? Akshay, please stick to the whatever they ask. Clear? Sunset law is of different nature. It is related to peasantry. We are talking about the national movement, that aspect. Sunset law is related to the land revenue policies and all. Zamindari's question was there. Clear? It was the case. Yes, everyone. Clear? So, can we consider that his approach was a negative? He want to end or he want to destroy the emergence of local leadership. He was having that intention, but whether he succeeded in that, of course not. It gave boost to the nationalists and they reacted against it and they participated in municipal elections, and that gave birth to the rise of leadership in future. And very best example, of course, Subhash Chandra Bose is the best example of that. Clear? Clear? So University Act, why it was so? He just want to prevent the participation of students in Indian national movement, because these acts were of discouraging in nature, that this nationalist movement should not get the new cadre as a student, but whether it is succeeded, of course not. Because of that, university students, one way they are provoked by this act and their participation is increased, and it is having long-term impact because they are the source, or we can consider the base of Indian national movement in future. Very best example, Quit India movement, long-term impact. One more impact, as some mess up is there, I just want to clear it first, so that what is there. Clear? So we mentioned the first point, partition of Bengal. Clear? Second point, what we mentioned? Yes, second point, what we have mentioned? Municipal bodies. Third, we mentioned University Act. And the fourth, I just want to mention one positive aspect for national movement, that is rise of indigenous industries. Rise of indigenous industries can be considered a positive impact. Can we consider it as a positive impact? Yes, everyone. Can be considered, because rise of Indian industry, rise of capitalist class, and this capitalist class supported national movement. Yes, this capitalist class supported Indian national movement, that gave us full support. As very best example, Birlas, Bajaj. Yes, they are the part of it. Clear? Yes, everyone. Is that clear to you? So evaluate the policies of Curzon and their long-term implication on national movement. Curzon policy was basically to discourage the Indians to take part in national movement, but the resultant of that is increase in the participation of Indians in the national movement. Clear? So these 4 points you have to mention, and word limit is of course how many words? 150 words are there. You have to mention the part first. In introduction you can mention very brief way. Second you are going to mention, second point you are going to mention partition of Bengal. Third, municipal bodies, that he want to discourage the Indian, but of course the result of participation of that, even the universities he want to suppress the student, but the result they are become a mass space. And finally, rise of emergence of this class because of the Swadeshi movement. After partition of Bengal, Swadeshi movement and rise of capitalist class. Everyone, is that clear to you? Yes, everyone, is that clear to you? All of you? Yes, any question, any query? Is there any question, any query? Good. Next question. The process of desertification does not have climatic boundaries. Justify with the examples. The process of desertification. Word is process of desertification. Does not have climatic boundaries. Justify with example. Agree? Agree? Yes. Yes, we agree with that, because we learned this thing from geography, that we know that why there is a desert. It is depend on the climate. As one question UPSC love and they used to ask for a long time, the western side of the continent are having desert. Why it is so? A climate is a reason for that. Scanty rainfall in that time, cold current is there, and that is, we all know that. But whether the question is related to that, of course not. So we are not going to discuss the climatic aspect of it. Then what aspect we are going to mention? The process of desertification does not have climatic boundaries. Justify with example. And here we are going to mention the very most important thing, that is a man-made desertification. Man-made desertification. This is an important aspect of it. Akshay, climate defined by long term with a particular type of weather means equatorial climate or humid and rainy. It's okay. Akshay, it is not related to the climatic boundaries. Does not have a climatic boundary. The process of desertification doesn't have climatic boundaries. Justify with example. Yes, everyone. What do you think? What you are going to write? Justify with the example. But first of all, the process of desertification, of course, earlier they were having climatic boundaries. Yes, everyone. Yes, everyone. What you are supposed to write here? Yes, answer is up to you. Process of desertification does not have climatic boundaries. Justify with example. They said example is most important. Yes, what you're going to suppose to write here? I'm waiting for your answers, everyone. Yes, everyone, I'm waiting for your answer. What's your response for it? If you agree, yes, then tell me what you're going to write. What do you think the demand of the question? Yes, what do you think the demand of question is, that what they expect you from which point of view they are asking? Yes, due to the globalization and increasing the needs of human, people exploited the natural resources to which efficient. Yes, of course, of course, of course. Yes, Rudra, yes, you are there, good. Pollution affects the fertility of soil. Soil become infertile after a long time. Soil lost the complete humidity and becomes like desert. So can we consider that this right now, this climate, or sorry, can we consider in the man-made desertification how it is so? A very best example I just want to share with you. Actually, I find out very good thing with all of you, and I just want to share with you. That is, one is of course the natural way of desertification. Natural, and it is not related to the climate. The natural way of desertification. What's that? Wind. Wind act as an important agent. Clear, everyone? So can we consider it? Can we consider it that it is not going to restrict in that particular zone because of the wind? Because of the wind, the process of desertification is reached to the other places. Yes, Harshita, deforestation is one of the reason. Both man-made and also natural. Yes, yes, yes. But what I am saying, wind can be act as an agent. Yes, it acted as an agent. And you know what? There are many places where people used to actually they establish a boundary wall, or they can plant the trees so that they can stop the process of desertification in the neighboring area. So this is the natural way. You can add this point. But our main important aspect is second point. This is the first point, natural way, and wind act as an agent and desertification is there. Second, the man-made desertification, that is the most important aspect. Here we are going to discuss that. The second aspect, as I mentioned, man-made. Very best example, as you mentioned, deforestation. Deforestation is an important aspect of it. Can we mention one more aspect? Excessive use of water for irrigation or excessive water in irrigation. Yes, can we consider that? Deforestation, of course, you all knew that. Because of the deforestation, desertification is the process in the neighboring area. But there are various areas which are far away from the actual desert, but they acted as that. Excessive use of water, and very best example, and here they ask the example as well. Yes, chemical fertilizer, excessive use of water in irrigation, very best example, Rajasthan and Punjab. Clear? Rajasthan and Punjab, where the excess use of irrigation water that made the soil saline and fat, later on that area became desert. It just like desert. Desert, it just understood. Desert, it just means just sand and all. Clear? It is other than, means you are not in a position to grow anything in that particular area. So these are the best examples. Yes, yes, locust outbreak is there, countries search of resources. Yes, exactly. Then can we consider one more aspect? Deforestation is there, excess water in that area. A very best example. Yes, yes, yes. That is also the reason. That is also the reason that excessive use of water as well. Means excessive use of water in irrigation, but at the same time, excessive or over exploitation we can mention. Over exploitation of water from ground. In Punjab due to the Green River. Yes, yes, yes. Now you actually get it. You have to mention about the impacts of or negative impacts of green revolution. Yes. Over exploitation of groundwater, that is also making this area deserted. How? One very best example, as some of you might read somewhere, the example of Gangapur. Sorry, Ganga Nagar. Ganganagar. This area is very famous, this place is very famous. And how it is so? How it is so? Because here people use the tube well or bore well to irrigate the land. And they dug the tube well in such a manner they reached to the last stage of groundwater table. And what happened? What happened? They touches the saline water of the ocean because that hollowness was there in that part. Basically, the pure source or what we can say the salt water and normal water, they all contaminated with each other, and finally the emergence of salty water out of that area. Clear? And this Ganga Nagar is a very representative example of this, how human or man-made practices made the area like desert or make them as a desert. Yes, everyone. Yes, everyone. The process of desertification does not have a climatic boundary. Justify the example, and you are going to mention that. So, locust, low carbon and pH level in the soil. Yes, excess use of chemicals. Yes, the excess use of water for irrigation. You can mention the excess use of chemicals. Clear? That is also the reason for that. Over exploitation of water for not just for irrigation. If you are having misconception that people are using it for irrigation, no. Industries as well. Industries are more responsible than agriculture sector because the more water is required. Clear? Is that clear to you? So how the land gets desertified, excess use of water for irrigation, and you know Rajasthan, the Rajasthan canal or Indira Gandhi canal is very famous for that. And people used to take the crop, they changed the cropping pattern, and they used to take sugarcane in that area. And actually Rajasthan is not made for that. Rajasthan is having different climatic conditions, but people uses the excess water to grow such crops which are water intense. Clear? Yes, okay. So now you get it, what you have to write, what is the expectation from you in this question. Everyone, is that clear to you? No question? Okay, next. Very interesting question, and it is deal with your and mine day-to-day life. Has caste lost its relevance in understanding the multicultural Indian society? Yes, Akshay, we can mention the last point as a concluding point. Means whatever you have mentioned. If there are some redressal measures is there, if corrective measures are there, definitely you have to write. Clear? So as you are going to write it, it is going to give you one more or half marks more than anyone else. Clear? Solution. If you are having solution, please write it. Yes, it is a very interesting thing and it is related to you and me and all. Has caste lost its relevance in understanding the multicultural Indian society? Elaborate your answer with illustration. Yes, everyone, please let me know. This is a question related to the society, and I hope all of you read the Indian society very well from the books. But I'm damn sure that such type of question you are going to deal with your practical experiences about the society. If you can read or watch the society with the naked eyes, then you will get to know the reality of this question. Has the question started here? Has caste lost its relevance in understanding the multicultural Indian society? Elaborate your answer with illustration. And actually, this question, the wording they use in such a manner which creates a confusion. What exactly they are asking? Yes, am I right or wrong? Just read it, and you will get to know the same thing. Has caste lost its relevance in understanding the multicultural Indian society? Elaborate your answer with illustration. Those who haven't understood, I just want to explain with the simple words. The question is about to ask you that for understanding of caste, in multicultural Indian society is already losing relevance. That is, caste doesn't matter in understanding our multicultural Indian society. Yes, Ashwini confused. In India, from the latter Vedic medieval caste behind defined by profession. नहीं, जिन लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया उनको बहुत आसान शब्दों में कहता हूँ, क्या आपको लगता है कि हमारे यहाँ पे जाति व्यवस्था जो है वो अपना जो भी रिलेवेंस है या जो भी उसकी वजूद है वो वजूद उसने खो दिया है अब मल्टीकल्चरल इंडियन सोसाइटी में? From caste to class we are moving. Bhuvan said that. Yes, what do you think? Do you agree that caste lost its relevance in understanding the multicultural Indian society means very simple. Has caste lost its relevance in multicultural Indian society? यानी हमारी जो समाज व्यवस्था है आज भारत की मल्टीकल्चर सिंस बिगनिंग वी आर मल्टीकल्चर द वेरी बेसिक has caste lost its relevance in Indian society? Rudra not agree at present. No, caste haven't lost relevance. नहीं, जातिवाद तो आज भी देखने को मिल रहा है. Strong Hindi belt. Yes, strong Hindi belt represent the same. Yes, everyone, do you agree? Yes, caste system is there. Whether it has lost relevance? I just want to tell you with the example how caste lost its relevance. First, let's take example of city life. Let's example of city life. As all of you, yes, Harshvardhan is not agree with that. She said that caste plays major role in society nowadays as well. Okay, let's consider the example of city life. In cities, you're living in colonies or societies or apartments. Yes. Sorry. In the colonies or in the societies or in apartments, whether you're going to allow or whether you're not going to allow a person from any particular caste, or is it not the case that in the societies and in the colonies access is for all? Anybody can take a plot, anybody can take the flat in that apartment. Clear? Is there any caste restriction is there? In general I am talking about, in general. Is there any such caste restriction present? Yes, everyone. Is there any such caste restriction present? In city life I am talking about. This is the first point. The second point I am going to discuss with you. Whether interfaith or intercaste marriages are accepted best example is Sikh also have the SC population, but many of doesn't know the rest of the part of the country. Okay, let's take example one by one. We are going to discuss whether it is an acceptable phenomenon in cities, intercaste, interreligion marriage. Of course, it is an acceptable phenomenon. In the colonies as well, in the apartment, you are not going to ask, okay, you are from which caste? Okay, you are from A caste. No, you are not going to allow here, stay here. It is not the case because in the colonies and in apartments, various people are staying together. Intercaste marriages, interfaith marriages are basically a challenge, or we can consider it as a they are hammering on the caste system and caste prejudice. So can we say that caste is losing relevance? Yes, caste is losing relevance. Yes, we can say that. Okay. So in city life, we can consider the colonies means we are staying together. In educational institute, we are there. In school, we are there. In even in the marriage, that is most important ceremony of our life, we accept it as it is without any problem. So if we consider the city life, then we can consider, and yes, very best example. Yes, very best example. There are many people, they are not writing caste. on official documents. These are also the examples, so that we can consider okay, the caste doesn't matter to India. Caste lost its relevance. So if you go through this example, you can see that. Okay, I will show you another life village. Whether in the villages people are staying as like cities? No, wards are there, and most of the wards are based on caste. Clear? Second, intercaste marriages mostly not acceptable phenomena. Clear? Third, third, the question can be tackled in both positive and negative aspect of the caste means metropolitan culture. Yes, exactly. Now Akshay, you're getting it. Yes, exactly. We have to deal in that manner only. I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to show you both aspects of it, this and that as well. So in the villages, caste matters, intercaste marriages is not acceptable, and no, there are some very horrifying things, so-called honor killings. This is the horrifying nature of this madness of caste or class prejudice. Clear? Can we consider that caste lost relevance? No. We know that dominance of one caste over other, and this is very visible in the villages, as we have lots of example that if one person wants to celebrate his marriage and he wants to ride the horse, but it is not accepted. Why? Because the upper class community in that particular village objected on that. They said that you are from lower caste community and it is not allowed in that. So that is the dominance of one caste over the other. So can we consider caste lost relevance? And we have lots of example of horrifying crime against the person on the basis of caste. There are many. I just don't want to take the name right now, but you know all. This is the horrifying nature of Indian society. So what do you think? What is expected from you? Yes, everyone, what is expected from you? Has has caste lost its relevance in understanding the multicultural Indian society? Elaborate your answer. So basically your answer should have two parts. Part 1, part 2. And the part 1 you are going to mention yes, to some extent, and no, as it is present in some extent. Clear? Because in cities, professions are decided mostly on the basis of your income. Caste, earlier when the caste was derived, at that time profession was there. If you belongs to suppose particular peasant community, then your caste is particular. If you belongs to any other community, your caste business community, your caste is other. But right now in cities, whether you are going to follow the traditional profession, of course not. So it lost relevance because caste is based on profession and feudalism is one of the aspect of it. And right now in cities, feudalism lost relevance, profession, the traditional profession lost relevance. So of course, in this context, the caste system lost relevance in Indian society, but mostly in cities. But in villages, caste system is prevalent to decide the society's socio-cultural aspect of that and how it is so you are going to mention. Yes, everyone. Is that clear to you? Part is clear to you? How you have to deal with that? It's very simple. I just want to explain this, how you are going to deal with this. Clear? Yes, everyone. Is that clear to you? Good. Next question. COVID-19 pandemic asserted the class inequalities and poverty in India. You have to comment. COVID-19 pandemic asserted the class inequalities and poverty in India. Comment. What's your opinion, everyone? What's your opinion whether the COVID pandemic asserted the class inequality and poverty in India? Yes, everyone. Don't you think so? It is really a diplomatic question for you. Yes. Here you have to use your word very precisely. Clear? You have to deal with what happened because of this pandemic. Clear? So be precise in that. What kind of class inequalities and poverty in India because of the COVID pandemic? Hmm. Yes, everyone. What's your comment? What do you think? First, do you agree with this? Of course, you agree with this. All of you agree with this. That is pandemic asserted class inequalities and poverty in India. How? Just you have to mention comment. First, suddenly every economic activity stopped. Yes, suddenly. You know how suddenness it was there. Suddenly every economic activity stopped. Clear? Every, all the aspects. Then you have to mention the result of that. The result of that, migration, suffering. Yes, migration, suffering. Second, as the suddenness, because of this suddenness, everything stopped. Loss of jobs. Clear? Loss of job. Third, loss of savings. Loss of job, loss of saving. Along with that, those who were there or those who are working right now as well, earning very less as compared to pre-COVID period. Clear? It is basically one of the form of exploitation that you are all the works resume in the same manner. But right now, people are not getting that much salary. And if they are not getting enough salary, then what will be the consequences of it? Huge decrease in PPP. Those who consider this PPP is public-private property, then you are absolutely wrong. Purchasing power priority. Means basically your capacity to spend money. It also drastically reduced. And if PPP is reduced in such a manner, then how economy is going to work? Economic setback. Economic setback is there as this pandemic this pandemic broke the dependency chain. This pandemic broke the dependency chain. How it is so? Suppose if you are working from home, I'm the person who is working from home, then I'm not going outside. I'm just sitting at my place. Clear? I'm sitting at my place home. So whether I'm going to ask for tea, yes, whether I'm going to ask for tea, coffee, breakfast, no, I'm at my home. So all the needs are catered by my family. But when I was in the office, one person is there to provide tea, coffee, breakfast, cleaning staff, that sweeping staff was there. Yes, along with that, I use a means of transportation either by cab or anything else. I'm not using that. Clear? When I used to go to office at that time, I'm having some lunch, dinner, meeting outside. So basically, I'm spending the money at that place. So this dependency chain already broke, and the severe sector, the most severely affected sector is the service sector. Clear? And because of this, all this, why I explain this thing, I just want to tell you, because of all these things, there were no money in the market, and this added inequality. And it, of course, what we can say, the poverty in India is also increased because of this pandemic. Clear? Yes, everyone. So do you agree with this? Yes, you agree with it, and you have to explain this thing in well manner. Whatever I mention here, you have to mention that these are the reasons through which we can consider that yes, because of this COVID pandemic, class inequality increases because one very best example, rich become richer and poor become poorer, because rich people were having money, they invested money in different form of platform and they earn profit from that. But what about the poor? They lost everything. They lost job, they lost their saving, and it is very dangerous. Clear? Yes, everyone. Is that clear to you? How you have to deal with this question? You have to mention because of this COVID-19 pandemic, sudden setback to economy, everything is stopped. The interdependability was there, it was broke, and those who were already earning they lost jobs. Some were having job, they were having less amount of sources with them, and because of that their paying capacity, spending capacity reduced. And if money is not invested, money is not going to spend, then how economy is going to work? And that's why poor become poorer and rich become richer. Do you think so? Is there any problem with one of the richest person of Asia during this COVID pandemic? Of course not, because they are having enough money. But what about a person who can survive with help of any service sector, for example, tea shop or any breakfast shop, small? They can't because nobody is there to eat. Good. Next. Next question. Do you agree that regionalism in India appears to be consequences of rising cultural assertiveness. Argue. Do you agree that? Do you agree? The word is do you agree that regionalism in India appears to be consequences of rising cultural assertiveness. Assertiveness, the word is जिसे हिंदी में कहते हैं मुखरता, aggression, aggressiveness, proud of our culture, proud of our practices and kind of that. Yes, a kind we can consider it as a chauvinism or jingoism. What do you think? Do you agree that regionalism in India appears to be consequences of rising cultural assertiveness? If you agree, argue with this. Yes, everyone. Do you agree with this? Yes, Akshay, agree. Okay. Can we consider, everyone, can we consider the rising cultural assertiveness is a threat as well? Can we consider cultural assertiveness is threat for the country as well? Cultural assertiveness. Why you're taking so much time? It's very simple. How to deal with that? Whether regionalism is good or bad, whether regionalism is good or bad, we don't know whether it is good or bad. We consider it as sometimes good, sometimes we consider it as bad as well. Clear? So how to deal with this question? It is very simple. I just want to share you directly the part 1. Part 1, you have to define regionalism. In brief, define regionalism in brief. It doesn't mean what is regionalism and all. It is not the case. You have to define how regionalism is an integral part of India. Clear? And that's why the founding fathers and mothers of Indian Constitution included regionalism as a part of India, because India is a union of states and our diversity is our unity, is our strength. Clear? So regionalism is a positive aspect, and that's why our constitutional makers considered this as a fact. Best example, Hindi imposition on South, extreme level of regionalism is not good. Yes, of course. So here you have to mention regionalism is basically the idea of India. Yes, regionalism is the idea of India before concept of nation state, before nation state. Yes, everyone, please pay attention. Before nation state, our geographical area was divided on the basis of region, language, and all. But once the idea of nation state emerged, we merge all these ideas into nation state. And our nation state, our idea of India is based on the respect to all language and celebrate all the languages, all the regions. We never considered one region is superior than other. We considered all are equal. So this should be your first part in brief. In brief, that regionalism is a part of Indian constitution, Indian society, and we are staying together for a long, yes. Akshay said some people not behave good with the northeastern people, call them, yes, 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 yes. That shows their ignorance. Clear? Because ignorance gives you happiness. Part 1 is basically introduce regionalism and how it is an important aspect of idea of India. Clear? Now we are going to discuss the part 2. Part 2, what you are going to mention? Part 2, you are going to mention this regionalism is important as well. Regionalism is important as well. How it is so? Because this regionalism is focused on development, promotion of language, yes, promotion of language, promotion of culture and all. Clear? This is the way regionalism is important. Along with that, regionalism in politics also gave aspiration or fulfill the aspiration of the regions. Yes, in politics, regionalism fulfill the aspirations of the regions. Clear? Because if you are going to impose the idea of India or not such, if you are going to impose the idea of unitary form of the government, then this is really a setback for our nation state. If people consider they are suppressed, definitely they are going to express their anger in different way. So regionalism is important, it is good to some extent, and these are the examples. Promotion of language, literature, food, culture and all that you are going to mention in the part 2. Part 2. Part 3. Part 3. What you're going to mention nowadays means recent time. Part 3. Part 3 you have to mention that regionalism is rising cultural assertiveness. Cultural assertiveness means imposition of language. Imposition of language. Imposition of culture. Yes. Imposition of language, imposition of culture, then imposition of food. Imposition of food, etc. Can we consider it as a good? Can we consider it is good for integration of India, or can we consider it is good for the unity of India? Can we consider this all is a form of jingoism? Clear? This all are the form of jingoism, and jingoism is not good for the country like India. Clear? So regionalism is good until it is going to harm the national interest. Once it is going to harm the national interest, it is not the good practice. Clear? And this are the example. You can mention the example, but always remember, do not use any political party name in that. Clear? You can mention directly that there are certain incidences at various states in India where such practices followed. For example, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Assam. Clear? Such kind of things are common in these states, but do not use the name of any political party in that. Clear? So part 4 is basically a concluding part. Part 4 is concluding part, and here you have to mention regionalism is good until it is not going to affect the unity of the country. So that should be your fourth part, concluding part. Yes, everyone, is that clear to you? Do you agree with the regionalism? This recent time, this madness is going on. Regional cultural assertiveness is good, but imposition is not at all good. So you argue as well, means here in this answer, sometimes you support it and sometimes you opposed it, because always have positive as well as negative aspects. Yes, everyone, is that clear to you? Is that clear to you? Clear? Next question. Yes, I know it's too much, but yes, it's very simple. It's very simple, and we are definitely going to discuss whatever the remaining questions are there. But stay there. Please have some patience. Yes, please have some patience. We are going to discuss in detail. That's why patience is required. Okay. Indian philosophy and tradition played a significant role in convincing and shaping the monuments and their art in India. Philosophy and tradition played a significant role in convincing and shaping the monuments and their art in India. Do you agree with it? Yes, do you agree with this? Yes, everyone, do you agree with this? 250 means how many pages? 100 words means one page. One, one, half. Yes, generally we have to use 2.5 pages for it. Clear? 250 words. Yes, do you agree with this? Of course, yes. Whether the philosophy and tradition played important role, let me tell you one very best example in Indian context. How this philosophy and tradition played a significant role in shaping. Don't worry, I'm here, Rudra. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm going to deal with that. You just stay with me. Oh, Nilesh is there. Finally, person is joining with us. Good. Let's take example. How this philosophy played an important role in that. Philosophy, don't you think so? They motivate the artisans to express their art. Don't you think so? Philosophy inspired the artisan to perform their art on anything, either through painting or through sculpture or anything. Clear? Do you agree with this? Means just remember. Means I suppose I'm going to tell you the story of Ramayana. There are four brothers. Yes, there are four brothers, and some problem is there. Father said that get out and all such story. You know all these things. But most important problem is imagination. Most important problem is imagination. That most of the people are having the same problem. They can't imagine that thing. So how do you imagine that? So this artisan basically inspired by the story, and they want to show the people what exactly the things are. Clear? And they uses this thing through painting or sculpture art or anything. They express that in that form. Clear? So can we consider they inspire? Yes, because philosophy and art played an supplementary and complementary role with each other. Philosophy inspired the artisan, and artisan even inspired the philosophy in how it is so, because skill their skill made it possible to understand what is written in the books. Yes, exactly. The Khajuraho is the best example of that. Yes, the Ajanta, Ellora, Shramanas and all. Yes, I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain that all the aspects. Clear? So do you agree? Yes, it is the case. So part first, what you are going to discuss. First, you have to mention in introduction that philosophy and art, artisan, played supplementary and complementary role with each other. Clear? Part 2. The part 2, this is most important and most of us are not going to write. Yes, I'm going to tell you, most of us. What's this part then? With the advent of Indo-Greek, or we can consider the foreigners, with the advent of Indo-Greeks or the foreigners, Shaka, Kushana, Pallavas, and they embrace the religion, they embrace the Buddhism and all, they all gave boost to, they all gave boost to what? Art and architecture. Why it is so? Because these are well versed in that. Their Roman god, Greek god were there, Apollo is there, Hercules is there, and they expressed that. Even the statues of kings were there. So basically, when they recruited Indian artisan, an Indian artisan realizes they are basically portraying whatever written in their sculpture. So we already heard about the stories of Buddha, Buddha's life, Jaya Mahavira, and all. Clear? So we also used to do that. Next, part 3, you have to mention about Buddhism. In Buddhism, which school? Gandhara, Mathura, and Amravati you're going to mention. In brief, Jainism you're going to mention. These are the philosophical aspects. Clear? Then you're going to mention Brahmanism. You're going to mention about temples and all. One most important part of the philosophy, because Indian philosophy is not going to deal with only spiritual aspect. Indian philosophy deals with the materialistic aspect, and very best example, the part 4 is of materialistic aspect. Materialistic aspect, and very best example of it is Khajuraho temple. Yes, very best example is of Khajuraho temple. Even the materialistic life is depicted. It inspired the things. Religious, religious aspect, spiritual aspect, along with the materialistic aspect. Yes, Santara philosophy at Shravan Belgula. Yes, exactly. It is the same case. Because what was written, how the person gets enlightened, as the Buddha image, you know, all of you know that Buddha fasted for long and how we get enlightened. It was not in position the people used to visualize. This art made them visualize. Clear? So that's why can we consider that Indian philosophy and tradition played significant role in convincing and shaping the monuments and their art in India. Yes, these are the representative example of it, because this philosophy inspired the art and architect to perform their art, and finally the result that leads to the spread of Buddhist, Jainist and other religious ideas and philosophy among the society. Everyone, is that clear to you? All of you? Yes, no response from your side. What happened? Boys and girls, what happened? सो गया क्या? This is not the time. It's just 5:30 and I already started late and I'm really sorry for that as well. Yes, everyone. Hmm. Clear? Idea is clear? Good. Next. Okay, one more question is related to modern India. Since the decade of 1920s, national movement acquired various ideological strands and thereby expanded the social base. Discuss. Since the decade of 1920s, national movement acquired the various ideological strands and thereby expanded its social base. Discuss. Those who attended the last lecture only, yesterday I conducted a very last moment strategy, and whatever the question I took for the discussion, same question UPSC asked this year, but with the change of the words. Context is the same. Yesterday we discussed about one question. Do you remember? Yes, everyone. Do you remember which question we discussed in the last lecture? The question was very simple and it was related to there are many voices during Gandhian phase which strengthen the national movement. Discuss. Agree? Yes, everyone. Do you remember? And even I discussed this thing when we started, I think so, modern India section as well. Okay, those who don't know, do not take tension. I'm here. I'm going to tell you what exactly you are supposed to write here. In the decade of 1920s, national movement acquired various ideological strands and thereby it expanded the social base. First, we are going to discuss what about the various ideological strands. What type of ideology emerged in the decade of 1920s? One is very famous, communist. One is another famous, socialist. Clear? Another is revolutionary. Yes, agree? Yes, actually, it was the same question. Just they changed the structure. The question is related the same. Various ideology emerged. Of course, communist ideology emerged. Socialist ideology emerged. Revolutionary ideology emerged. Can we consider emergence of this ideology in this particular period? Yes, it is the period of 1920s only. This is the decade. Communist Party formed. When? Where? In 1925 in India, the Communist Party was formed. Agree at least three. You agree communist, socialist and revolutionary. So next thing, how this is the second point. How it expanded the base, the social base of the movement. How it expanded. Communist. Communist focused on workers. Communist focused on workers. Workers are attached to the communist and communist participated in national movement under Indian National Congress. Clear? Can we consider now the Indian National Congress, the base of Indian National Congress is also expanded. Earlier the congressman was there, but now workers also participated in that. Workers also participated? Good. Socialist. Revolutionary. First we are going to take the revolutionary. Revolutionary are highly inspired by the idea of Russian Revolution. People's power, strength. Very best example, of course, Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad and all. These all are inspired by the ideology. So basically can be considered that this revolutionary activity inspired the youth to take part in national movement. Initially they all took the path of a revolutionary movement, but later on they served as a cadre base for national movement. Yes, because now revolutionary also changed their strategy from individual heroism to mass revolt. Clear? Now they are not going to kill any one person and all. They now changed their strategy and they considered the power of people to revolt against the autocratic government. So basically, can we say that it is strengthen the national movement by providing the young cadres? Yes, those who are not believer of the communist ideology and those who are not believer of the revolutionary ideology as well, and those who are not inspired by the old political tactics of congressmen, they are inspired by the socialist idea, and very best example, of course, Nehru and Subhash. Yes, Nehru means Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. These are the two important leaders which played important role in this. Along with that, this socialist idea inspired the workers as well, because there are many sessions when Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose was the president of the trade union. No, no, no. They didn't. They whatever the example Akshay you mentioned, can we consider they expanded the social base or basically they destroyed the social base? Because expansion means here you are going to include all. Here you are going to include worker. Here you are going to include socialist. Here you are going to include students, youth. This is the expansion. Clear? Even I just want to share you the socialist. They inspired one thing, that is the speech of Jawaharlal Nehru. If you remember that, I don't believe in the king, queen, and queen. Yes, will of the people. He mentioned that that means the native state, that native people also participated in that. Yes, in that speech he was clear cut mentioned that I do not believe in king and queen. That means native state will no longer be there in India and native people are going to be part of India. Can we consider the expansion of social base for the moment? Yes, is that the case? So don't you think so? It's very easy for you to write the answer for this, and this was the answer we already discussed in the last lecture only. Clear? Yes, clear. Is that clear? Good. So what they ask we already discussed. What is expected from you? How it increased the social base, and they all acted as a social base for the movement and they served it. Next thing, next thing. Okay. Yes, this is a very interesting question. Everyone, please pay attention. The interlinking of rivers can provide the viable solution to multidimensional interrelated problems of drought, floods, and interrupted navigation. Critically examine. Yes, the word is critically examine. इंटरलिंकिंग ऑफ रिवर, इसे ही हिंदी में कहा गया था नदी जोड़. Clear? Interlinking of river can provide the viable solution to multi-dimensional problem interrelated problems basically like drought, floods, and interrupted navigation critically examined. Yes, how you are going to deal with this? Very simple question to all of you, but still we are discussing it because of the word critically examined. Yes, everyone, tell me what you are going to discuss in this question. Because all of us as an Indian, we are suffering from the problem of drought, suffering from the problem of flood, even the river navigation solved many problems. Akshay said first we have to mention the positive aspect. Okay, fall of Netravati river linking Karnataka and Mahadaya issues in yes. Okay, yes. So you have to write in very simple words. As we all faces the problem in Bengal, Assam, Bihar, every year floods are there. But at the same time, there are various regions in India where we are suffering from drought. Basically, Maharashtra, Central India. Yes, there are many states in Central India, Maharashtra, Karnataka, even Tamil Nadu faces the drought. So that time, we considered it as a solution. We can solve the problems. Okay. National waterways already there, even the part of the country see huge flood, but another side huge drought is there. First mention about the interlinking of river and then how it is help if linked and then okay. It is not possible everywhere, but possible in plain areas and flooded areas. Okay, yes, hurdles, local, displaced, interstate dispute. Yes. Okay, now you got it. What is expected? The word is critically analyze, critically examine. The first you have to mention about what's this project. Yes, what is this project? Interlinking. In brief, what is this project interlinking in brief? Brief. This idea is there that it is going to solve the problem. Part 2. Part 2 you are going to mention the advantages of it. Clear? Part 2 you are going to mention advantages with example. Yes, if any example is there. Clear? Part 3 you are going to mention the problems in implementation. Yes, everyone. What about the economic? Yes. Don't worry. We are going to discuss Bhuvan. Yes, due to the water geographical area. Now, problems in implementation. The first and most important problem is economic viability. Means we have to consider that economic viability. Why it is so? Because India is not a developed country, developing country. We are having limited resources, so we have to just check it. So because of economic problem is there. Once we are going to start, and what about rest? Who is going to finish that? Okay. Along with that, the second most important thing, that is, if it happened, don't you think ecological impact? Don't you think ecological impact is going to be there? Everything is going to change. Everything. Next, we are going to mention about one more aspect. These are the matter of concern for us. Yes, his problem, but do not use the word problems. Use the word concern instead of problem. Third important thing. Yes, what do you think? Third important thing. Displacement. Displacement of the people is also important problem. Why it is so? Because we have lots of examples that people are displaced from their land and they didn't get a proper land. Yes, there are many issues and Narmada Bachao is one of the best examples. Clear? Displacement will not settle at many places. This is problem or not? Yes. Next important problem, interstate dispute. And you can mention about many. For example, Karnataka is the state which is having problem with almost all of the states. Like Karnataka is having water problem with Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh. Same way they are having problem with Goa as well as they are having problem with Tamil Nadu. And Tamil Nadu Karnataka problem is very severe. It is the same thing. Problem is there with Punjab and Haryana. It is a problem between Maharashtra and Telangana. Yes, so these problems are still there in India in the natural river, natural flow. What about if we are going to construct such thing? Yes, everyone? Yes, Akshay, Kaveri river issue is there. So this problem we have to take into consideration. So this is the part third. Part third is about your concern related to this project. Clear? Ecology is most important, then displacement is most important, economic impact is most important, and interstate dispute is also important. Now the part 4. Yes, everyone. The part 4. Part 4, you have to balance it. How you are going to balance it is basically concluding part. As critically examine is basically you have to write on the basis of positive and negative. Here you have to balance it. That means idea is good, but we have to implement it on pilot basis. We have to implement it on pilot basis and analyze it. Clear? We have to implement pilot basis, analyze it, and if the project is viable, if we are in a position to control everything, then and then only it can be implemented in national wide. This should be your conclusion. Means to not oppose it as well as you are not going to fully support it. You are saying we can try to interconnect the rivers which are near, and we have some examples. We have to understand, we have to study the loopholes, and if it is viable, then of course please implement it all over India. Answer is clear? Yes, everyone. Answer is clear to all of you? No question, no doubt? Yes. Yes, hardly two more questions are there. I know, I'm really appreciating your patience. I know it's really difficult for you to sit for a long. As I'm having the practice, I don't have any problem. But as you want to become civil servant, so that's why we have to be patient. Yes, everyone. Now we are going to discuss the question that is diversity and pluralism in India under threat due to globalization? Justify diversity and pluralism under threat due to globalization. Agree? Yes, everyone. Do you agree with this? That India's cultural diversity or any kind of diversity, pluralism is basically under threat due to globalization. And they said justify your answer. Agree? Really? Not really, as it is our strength and we will continue. No, I don't agree. Actually, this question is not a one-sided question. Please pay attention. This question is not a one-sided question. Means if you are considering that globalization is going to destroy your culture, then actually the problem with you are not in a position to understand the Indian culture. If it is survive for thousands of years, it is going to survive for next 1,000 years as well. So we cannot consider it as a threat. To some extent, we can consider it the encroachment. Yes, the blind following of anything, as you know that in India we used to follow everything in blind. And best example that the written gift concept is there nowadays. It is a very important part of any ceremony. Written gift. Hence, basically, this is not a practice, not a way in India. Clear? But now we accept it. Encroachment, cultural encroachment is there to some extent. Clear? So, how you're going to deal with this? How you're going to deal with this? This is basically having most important one part. You have to agree. You have to agree and you have to mention the encroachment. You have to mention the encroachment like cultural encroachment, food, etc. Clear? A blind following. A blind following. Part 2. This is suppose part 1, part 2. How you are going to deal with this part 2? This is not agreed that it is not going to destroy. Basically, you are going to mention. Means here you have to disagree. Here agree to some extent. Here you have to disagree. That is our culture, practices, language are flourishing day by day. Yes, one more thing. Yes, I just want to add here. That is use of English. This is the utter madness in India that we considered if a person is speaking fluently in English, we considered that person is well educated. Because nowadays this pattern is going on and this is we can consider the encroachment in our diversity. Language is our beauty of our India. An imposition of one language because we consider it is a language of knowledge. It is utter madness. This is the way because of the globalization, opening of market and all, we considered without English you cannot survive in this world. And that's why this race is going on. Yeah, so for first part you can add this as well. That is excessive use of English education is can considered as a part of it. You know there are many parents who used to talk. Means they are well versed or they studied in vernacular language. They used to speak vernacular language at their place. But when they want to use the language, they use the language English with their children. This is the problem. Now the part 3. Part 3, that is the conclusion. And in this part, what is you have to write? Basically here you have to sum up. What you have to sum up? That now a mixed culture is going to develop. Yes everyone, the mixed culture is going to develop because of this thing. We adopted some good things from a world. For example, the way, the right to privacy, freedom of expression and all from this globalization aspect. Earlier it was not the case. Clear? We used to celebrate the several festivals. Means basically we learn to celebrate the life. Yes, because earlier somehow restriction was there. Now we used to celebrate. So we adopted that. But the same way, India also gave many more things to the world. Yes, people used to celebrate Diwali. People used to celebrate Holi as well in the worldwide. Even they learned the Indian languages as well. They love the Bollywood movies and all. Why it is so? Because Bollywood movies are the representation of India outside the world. Clear? So that is the way you have to sum up the things. So you cannot agree or disagree completely. You have to give the, what we can say, a balanced answer here. Some agreement, some disagreement, and finally the conclusion. Yes, everyone, do you agree with this? Do you agree with this? Clear? Customs and tradition suppress the reason leading to the obscurantism. Do you agree? Here also you have to write the balance approach. Custom and tradition suppress the reason behind the obscurantism. Sometimes you feel that no, it is not the case. The part first you have to write the introduction in generalized way. You can write part 2. You have to write the to some extent agreement, because while I say to some extent, no. Akshay, GS paper also done. Can we discuss it too? GS first paper we are going to discuss. GS second paper just now finished. So we are going to miss the other lecturer is going to discuss that subject. Clear? Don't take too much tension. Yes, boy, don't take too much tension. I'm going to finish the lecture. Just BC सवाल है ना भाई साहब, खत्म होने वाले हैं ना. Yes, to some extent we can agree with this because we know that the madness, cultural madness, the traditional madness is going on in our country, and that basically challenging the reasoning thing. Clear? It sometimes it act as a, what we can say, impediment in the path of progress. In the name of culture, in the name of practices, we are basically blindly following the things. So to some extent, we have to mention. Then part 3, you have to mention the disagreement. Here you have to mention the disagreement, and how you're going to mention it. Yes, everyone give me a moment. The disagreement, how it is so? Because Indian customs and tradition are always supporting the idea of reasoning. We always encourage people to ask the question. Historically, we have adopted this policy. Yes, historically as well. Our philosophy encouraged us to ask the question. Even our tradition never suppressed the thing. They supported this idea. Clear? So you have to mention the disagreement that our culture and customs are not completely against it. It is not going to act as an obstacle in the reasoning. Clear? And fourth, part fourth, you have to mention education, and rational thinking. Education and rational thinking is important to uh, important for growth. Clear? This education and rational thinking is important for growth, and Indian custom and tradition always support the idea of education and rational thinking. Yes, everyone. So this is the way a generalized you are going to, and here you can mention the example as well. Sometimes the cultural madness, customs, the blind following, actually blind following is dangerous. Disagreement, yes, disagreement, that is reason. If reasons are there, definitely you have to agree with them. But if there is no reason, some said that it was there from the past and you're going to accept, that means you are in uh, good position. Yes, everyone. Yes, everyone. Is that clear to you? Everyone, is that clear to you? Any question? Any query? Anything else? Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. Yes, I hope all of you that I gave you the answers of the question. I hope I help you to understand the questions, how to deal with that, and I am supposed maybe it is very helpful for you to understand. It is very helpful for you to understand the UPSC CSM paper first. Yes, everyone, clear? Is that clear with you? Yes. Okay, those who want to connect with me, then this is my Telegram channel at Unacademy underscore Harshvardhan is my Telegram channel. You can connect with me. Whatever the doubts you are having, you can ask me. Yes, and please subscribe to Unacademy. Those who haven't taken subscription, yes, I'm appealing you that your subscription is going to help us to make such videos. Without your subscription, it is not going for us to sustain. So please have a subscription and you will get the more benefits of Unacademy. Use my code, Harshvardhan is my code. And that's all from my side. Today at 9 o'clock, we are having lecture on modern India and the topic is Indian National Movement 1885 to 1905. So if you like the way of teaching, if you like the videos, please like, share, subscribe. Of course, follow me on our app, and if you like the way, you can dedicate your hats as well. That's all from my side. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Have a good day, great day. See you at 9 o'clock.